Hello everyone, very warm welcome once again to your favorite channel, that is StudyIQ Ice English. My name is Praveen Mishra and let's continue the chapter, that is the next chapter into the Indian Polity series named Directive Principles of State Policy. So what are DPSPs and how they are different from the previous chapter that we have discussed, that is fundamental rights. Okay, so here we go. The first thing that we need to discuss, the meaning of DPSPs, that is the Directive Principles of State Policy. They are basically the directions given by the Constitution to the state. Okay, that is, while making policies or programs, you must be keeping these certain things in your mind. Okay, so as when we go ahead with the basic understanding of the word directive principles, how it can be justified. Okay, so basically, just in a basic sense, when we talk about, so directive principles of state policy. Okay, so directives, that is basically they are mentioning the directions. Okay, directions to whom? To the word state. So these are the directions given to state. Okay, with regard to what? With regard to the creation or curation of policies of the state. So whatever the state is making, whatever the policies, programs, schemes, or actions the state is taking, it is the duty of the state to keep in mind the principles, okay, that are directed to it by whom? By the Constitution. Okay, by whom? By the Constitution, right? So just like a senior person of your, could be the parent, grandparent, siblings, spouse, teachers, mentors, anyone, they do provide you some set of instructions, some set of guidelines, okay, that you must perform this way, you must do this, you must not do this, etc., etc. Let's say, for example, I'll tell you this, you might have also experienced in your life. Okay, when you travel alone for the first time in your life, call it the roadways, railways, airways, or waterways, whatever, howsoever you are traveling alone, independently, that is going solo, okay, for the first time in your life. Okay, then before you have boarded your train, bus, flight, ship, whatever, through whatever means you are going, that is before you are boarding your transportation vehicle, before that, whosoever your guardian is, parent, sibling, relative, whatsoever, they do provide you a set of instructions that, do not just step out of the moving vehicle. Okay, don't talk to strangers, don't eat anything given to you or provided to you or offered to you by any stranger. Okay, take care of your luggage, right? Something like that. So you might have experienced this type of instructions from your senior fellows to you while the first time, okay, you were traveling alone, right? This is what you have experienced for sure, right? We all of us we have experienced the very same thing, right? So in that very same sense, in that very same way, these are the directive principles of state policy in basic layman terms. These are the instructions given to whom? To the state. By whom? By the Constitution. That while you are creating these policies, just keep all of these things in your mind. That your policies should have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things in the mind, while more and they must also be implemented accordingly. Right. So basically speaking, directive principles of state policy. Directions given to the state by whom? By the Constitution. So this is what is mentioned here. The directive principles of state policy, they are guidelines and the principles enshrined in our Constitution that are aimed at directing the state in its governance and policy making to ensure the welfare of the people and establishment of the just society, that is a welfare society. Okay, so the features of the directive principles. So when we were discussing about the sources of the Indian Constitution, there we also had that with regard to the Irish Constitution. Okay, we have got the Constitution, the gift of the DPSPs in our Constitution, from which different constitution of the world. It is from the Constitution of Ireland. Which constitution? Ireland. And Ireland got this constitution from where? From Spanish Constitution. Okay, so the sources of the concept of DPSPs, okay, is the Spanish Constitution, from which it came into the Irish Constitution. We took it from Irish and Irish took it from Spanish. So when it comes to question that the DPSPs, they came to Indian Constitution from which one? So do not take the name Spanish. Okay, as we have nothing taken from the Spanish one. We have taken from the Irish one. Okay, so the source of the DPSPs of the Indian Constitution, it is Irish Constitution. And the source of the DPSPs of the Irish Constitution is the Spanish Constitution. So when it comes to the Irish Constitution, Article 45 of there, okay, it mentions the DPSPs. Okay, and in India, inside our state, in the Indian Constitution, where is it mentioned? Okay, so it is mentioned in, yes, part 4. Okay, which part? Part 4, from articles 36 to 51. Okay, when it comes to the Indian Constitution, it is mentioned in which part? Part 4, from which articles? Article 36 to Article 51. Okay, so the source of the motivation of the DPSPs, it is Irish. Next, the basic features. I think it is visible, right? Green one. I don't think so. That would be very difficult to read. Okay, in case from next time I won't use these fonts. Okay, so starting with two distinct articles. Okay, that is Article 36 and Article 37. Okay, two articles what we need to start with. Article 36 and the next one, Article 37. What are the differences between these two? So first thing, Article 36 is definition of state. What is this? Definition of state. As in, simply speaking, the very same way that Article 12 is. So, whatever the definition of Article 12 is, that is definition of state according to Article 12, the very same is equals to Article 36. So, if you remember the first class of our fundamental rights, the segment of our fundamental rights, right? In that, the first article that we discussed was Article 12, definition of state. That what is a state basically? Any particular territory, boundary, area, institution, organization that is working directly or maybe indirectly under central government or any state government will come under the definition of state, right? So here also Article 36 mentions the definition of state only. Okay, so simply speaking, Article 12 is equals to Article 36 or Article 36 is equals to Article 12. So very same way definition of state. Okay, next is Article 37. Okay, it says that the directive principles of state policies, okay, they are DPSPs, they are basically non-justiciable, or simply speaking, non-enforceable. Okay, what are DPSPs? Non-justiciable and non-enforceable in nature. Okay, that's it. Now, what is the meaning of non-justiciable and non-enforceable? How do I define this term, that non-justiciable or non-justice enforceable? Simply, it states that they do not have the force of law. They do not have the force of law. Basically speaking, for the state, it is voluntary. That is, the state may accept it, and in case the state doesn't follows it, then also no problem. No particular proceedings or actions will be taken against state. Okay. Simply speaking, let's just understand it in detail. Okay. Once again, Article 37. Okay. What it says, let's write it here again. DPSPs are non-enforceable, or simply speaking, non-justiciable. That is, it is saying that DPSPs, they are voluntary to state. That means the state could even implement them or could even not, that is, ignore them. Okay. If state has implemented them, okay, fine, good enough. Fantastic, good job. But let's say the state has ignored any one of them or denied any one of them, or let's say all of them, then also no problem, okay, as they are absolutely voluntary in nature. Like, for example, a piece of advice. What is this advice? Advice word, what does it means? Exchange of views, exchange of words, exchange of opinion, right? I have advised you, let's say, for example, there is a person XYZ, and that person comes to me that give me some advice how to improve my handwriting, for example. Okay. So I advised that person, try writing cursive, okay, try using this pen, try using that type of a page, etc., etc. Now, this is just a piece of advice I have given to that person from my understanding, from my practice, from my experience, so on. Now, it is absolutely up to that person whether that person wants to implement that advice or not. In the very same sense, very same sense, the DPSPs are also what? A piece of advice, instructions, but advisory in nature. Okay, yes, they are instructions only, but these instructions are what? Advisory in nature. Okay, and this advisory in nature instructions mean the state could follow them and could deny them as well. So this is what Article 37 is. That is, DPSPs are said to be non-enforceable in nature or non-justiciable in nature. That's it. Okay. Now the question is, why DPSPs are non-justiciable in nature? What is the primary reason why DPSPs are kept as non-justiciable? Okay. So guys, I believe this particular second box could be difficult in visibility, and really apologies for that. Okay. So next time I'll be careful while making them. Okay. So coming to the point, the first and the foremost thing why DPSPs are made non-enforceable. The first thing, the framers of the constitution made DPSPs, okay, non-enforceable, that is non-legally binding, because of insufficient financial resources. As you know it very well that how the so-called British crown, the British Raj, the British government has looted our nation. They just destroyed our economy, disbanded the whole GDP, right? All of the wealth was drained to the country of England. Even their crown, what their queen, wears very pridely, the piece of diamond, which is the highlight of the crown, has also been taken away from India, right? They are museums. They are the center of attraction for the tourists because of all the things, the armors, the weapons, the cars, and many more, the jewelry and many more things, okay, from the Indian rulers, okay. Even their Madame Tussauds museum is of no use if there are no Indian personalities statues there. So we know it very well that how the drain of wealth took place. This is also what the grand old man of India, Dadabhai Naroji, in his book Wealth of Nations mentioned this drain of wealth theory, right? Okay. So, firstly, insufficient financial resources. The day 15th of August 1947, when we got independent. We got independent, but our economy was destroyed. Okay. And so it was important for the constitution makers to keep this thing in mind, that they do not make some legally binding principles that are imposed on the center or on the states, basically, okay, even if when they do not have adequate financial resources for that. Okay, so first thing was inadequate financial resources. Second one, the diversity and backwardness, the presence of immense diversity and socio-economic backwardness across the country posed us significant challenges to the effective implementation. The indifferent communities, sections, the backward classes, the scheduled tribes, the scheduled castes, the economically weaker sections, and some other segments of the society as well. India is the most diverse nation of this planet, from cuisine to language to attire to religion to caste to every single thing. And because of this utmost amount of diversity, once again, it was very lethal to make DPSPs as compulsory or legally binding in nature. As the different communities, they do require different laws. The different communities, they do require the different treatment as well. Third and the last thing, burdensome responsibilities of the newly independent state. For the first time, India tasted the recipe of democracy. And for us, along with the governments from the center to the states, it was important for them to explore all the options we can have inside our democracy. And for the sake of exploration, they needed an extra amount of bandwidth, a scale, a particular set of rules and regulations that are very much flexible, that can be having elasticity at its best. And for that sake, the constitution makers, they stated that yes, let's make DPSPs as non-enforceable only. Let's provide state with some sort of flexibility and leniency. That is okay. Take your time. And in that meantime, only with the passage of the time, when you are properly stable, when your economy is stable, when the society, the social fabric is stable as well, then only we will come back to this point and then discuss whether DPSPs, they should be made enforceable in nature or not. So why DPSPs? That is Article 37 talked about. That is DPSPs, they are not legally binding on the state or as non-enforceable or non-justiciable. The only reason being, the first reason, that is the drained wealth of the nation, which provided much scarcity in the economy, that is the scarce financial or the insufficient financial resources. Second one was the absolute amount of diversity the country had. And apart from that, third thing, that is the burdensome responsibilities to the newly independent state. Okay, so because of these reasons, DPSPs was made non-enforceable in nature. So Article 36, once again, definition of state, as we've already discussed. Article 37, once again, DPSPs, they are not legally binding. Okay, that is non-enforceable in nature. Right? Next, Article 38. So it is the duty. So this is what the first instruction in the chapter of DPSPs given to the state by the Constitution. Okay. Article 36 and 37, they are just the introductions, that is the definitions. Article 36, once again, definition of state as according to Article 12 itself. And Article 37, it tells that Part 4, DPSPs, Articles 36 to 51, they are not legally binding on the state. Simply speaking, non-enforceable, non-justiciable, that's it. Okay. So now the first one, Article 38, what it says, it is the duty of the state to secure a social order for the promotion of the welfare of the people. Basically speaking, it says the state should become welfare state. And how a state would become or could become the welfare state? Only when the governments, they are working day and night, endless, with all endless efforts for the sake of creating a common social order, a secure social order. And what is this secure social order? How do I define this term secure social order? So it is mentioned in the further of the clauses of Article 38 itself. That is the first clause that talks about the state shall strive to promote the welfare of the people by securing and protecting effectively as it may social order in which justice, social, economic, and political shall inform all the institutions of the national life. Okay, that is basically speaking, a secure social order is where justice is served in all the organizations at all the levels to each and every individual citizen of India. That is what a secure social order is. Okay. So what type of justice? All the three facets or all the three aspects of justice, that is social, political, and economic justice. If it is served to each and every individual, that society is said to be secure social order society. And the second clause, what it says, that the state shall in particular strive to minimize the inequalities in income, endeavor to eliminate inequalities in status, facilities, and opportunities, and not only amongst individuals but also amongst groups. Okay, so basically speaking, another element of a secure social order is that when each and every individual is not discriminated, no one is subject to any sort of discrimination, and each and every individual is provided with equal opportunities. That is what we discussed in Article 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23, 24, and so on. That is from Article 14 to Article 30, you can say. All of these 17 articles, okay, they are what? Focusing where? They are focusing for the secure social order. Basically, elimination of each and every type of discrimination, elimination of each and every type of inequalities, and establishment of equal opportunity to each and every single individual. Right? So this is what totally Article 38, that is the duty of state to secure a social order. Okay, where justice is there, equalities are there, discrimination is not there. Okay. Next comes into the list Article 39. That is certain principles of policies to be followed by the state. So Article 39 says that there are some certain principles that should be followed by the states while forming any sort of policies. And these certain principles, they are mentioned in the further of the clauses of Article 39. Let's say, for example, Article 39, Clause A. What it says? That the citizens, be it be the men, be it be the women, they have equal opportunities, or they have equally the right to have an adequate means of livelihood. Whether I am a male, as you can see here, whether I am a male or a female, okay, my gender should not be the element of discrimination when it comes to livelihood. Okay, so whether men or women, they must have adequate livelihood opportunities, or simply speaking, equal means of livelihood opportunities. Okay, Clause B of Article 39, what it says, that the ownership and control of the material resources of the community and so distribution, it should be subserved for the sake of the common good. Okay, distributed at best to subserve the community good. Basically speaking, what it is saying, in layman terms, what we can say, okay, Article 39, Clause B, okay, where it is mentioning. So it is mentioning towards one particular line, what we can simply state, okay, 39. I guess red is not visible there. Yeah. Okay, Article 39, Clause C. Oh, sorry, Clause B. Okay, what it says, there should be equal distribution. You can just write one single line. What Article 39 Clause B says, there should be equal distribution of all of the material or non-material resources. So that the ownership and control of the material resources of the community, they are so distributed as the best to subserve the common good or the community good. That is basically equal distribution of resources, adequate livelihood rights, okay, or opportunities. Then on the opposite side, we have got Article 39 Clause C. What it says that, as you can see, this says that there should be no concentration of wealth. No concentration of wealth. As Article 39 Clause B has already stated, resources should be distributed equally. Okay, so Clause C justifies Clause B. That is, wealth should not be concentrated to just one group, one community, individual, party, organization, institution, etc. Okay, so that the operation of the economic system does not result in the concentration of wealth and means of the production to the common detriment. Okay, it should be distributed equally, keeping in the mind the concept of equity. Okay. Clause D, what it says that there is an equal pay for equal work for both men and women. Just like Clause A says that equal opportunity of livelihood for both men and women. They should be not discriminated on the grounds of their sex or gender. And then to justify Clause A, we have got Clause D. What it says that, okay, equal opportunity is there for work, for livelihood. Then also there should be something that is equal pay for equal work, regardless of their sex or gender. So let's say, for example, a man, okay, is paid for 8 hours of duty 100 rupees. And so the female should also be paid for 8 hours of the duty 100 rupees. It should be not like that. Men, they are paid more and women, they are paid less, or women, they are paid more and men, they are paid less. No, absolutely not like that. So it should be equal pay for equal work for both men and women, right? Then just with regard to Article 38, we have got Article 39 Clause E, okay, which justifies the principles of Article 38 as well. What is that? The health and the strength of workers, men, women, okay, and the tender age of the children are not abused, and that the citizens are not forced by economic necessity to enter avocations unsuited to their age or strength. Basically speaking, it is saying that the health of the workers, wherever they are working, should not be compromised, whether they are men or women. Apart from that, the children or any individual, it is the duty of the state to keep this thing, okay, to keep this thing in the mind, that the individual's dignity is not compromised because of any economic constraints. Okay, they should not be compelled to indulge in any particular profession or a type of work or occupation that is harming their health and dignity. Okay, so because of any financial constraints. So that is what Article 39 Clause E. And in the very same way, we have got Clause F, that the children are given opportunities and facilities to develop in a healthy manner, and the conditions of freedom and dignity of the children, they are also maintained. So this is what certain principles or the guidelines that are to be followed by the state. This is what the Constitution has stated. That is, no one should be exploited, no one should be compelled or forced to indulge in any occupation or a business or a profession that is unsuited to their health or dignity, to their growth whatsoever. Okay, so this is what Article 39. Next in the list, we have got Article 39 capital A, equal justice and free legal aid to the poor. Guys, whenever you encounter capital terms, capital alphabets, A, B, C, D, whatsoever, see, there are the differences, okay, we need to understand. Whenever I say, whenever you hear the word or the term, let's say Article 22 Clause 1. So that will be quoted like Article 22 Clause 1. That will be in bracket. And subclause will be always alphabetic. Okay, subclause will be always alphabetic. Let's say Article 22 Clause 1 subclause B. Okay, it will be always in bracket. If you write like this, Article 22 Clause 1 subclause B, it's wrong. Okay, what is the correct way? Article 22 Clause 1 in bracket, subclause B in another bracket. And never use capital letters for subclauses. Okay, no capital. If you write like this, it is wrong. But yes, there is another provision. When I say Article 39 capital A, can I write it in bracket? No. Article 39 capital A, that means it is another article, has nothing to do with Article 39. Okay, though digits are same. Okay, though digits are same, but article number is different. So that is Article 39 capital A. So whenever you encounter the capital alphabet in the Constitution, that refers that this was not mentioned in the original Constitution and it was inserted through the Constitutional Amendment Act. So let's say Article 39, whatever, capital A or capital B, capital C, D, E, whatever you encounter, whenever it is capital, that means when the Constitution was made, okay, or applied by January 1950, these were the articles which were not mentioned there. These were through the means of amendment later on were added. Okay, that is, they were not mentioned in the actual Constitution. Okay, they were added later on by the Parliament through the means of amendment inside the Constitution. So as what you can see here, 39 capital A. Okay, so it was inserted through 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976. Before 1976 or before 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, Article 39 capital A was not written in the Constitution. Okay, it was simply 1976 when through the amendment Article 39 capital A came into the picture, right? And what it says equal justice and free legal aid to the poor. Okay, that is, no person shall be denied justice. And if any person is there who is not financially that sound, who can afford the legal help or any type of legal suggestion or advices, then also state will come into the action and will provide with to that person free legal aid. Okay, free. Okay, and as well as the justice, equal justice, call it social, political, economic, whatever. Okay, so this is what Article 39 capital A inserted through 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976. Next one into the list, Article 40 establishment of village panchayats. See, the DPSPs, they are differentiated. We will discuss the differences or their segment, their segregation. Okay, actually they are layered in three different political ideologies. And what are these three different political ideologies? They are liberal, they are socialist, and Gandhian. Okay, so basically the stratification of DPSPs have been done. That Article 38 is social, Article 39 is social, Article 40 is Gandhian. Okay, 41 and 42 they are liberal, for example, like that. Okay, so their layering or segregation or stratification has been done according to their political ideology, according to their political reference. Okay. So how many stratifications are there? How many layers are there in the DPSPs? Though not mentioned in the Constitution. With our own understanding, we have kept these layers. That is, oh, these are Gandhian, these are socialist, these are liberals. So there are basically three layers of our DPSPs. Okay, one that is based on the Gandhiji's ideology. Second, based on liberal ideology, and third, that is based on socialist ideology. There is no fourth stratification or layering has been done inside DPSPs. Okay, so Article 40, that is organization of village panchayats. That is, it is the duty of the states to organize village panchayats throughout the territory of India. This is what, once again, type of a Gandhian ideology. Not type of, actually the Gandhian ideology. Okay, so Article 40, what is this? Organization of village panchayats. So panchayats till 1992, they were there in India, not like that, they were not there. But till 1992, panchayats were not having constitutional status. So it was only through the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992, panchayats, they were given the constitutional frame. Okay. But before that, they were not constitutional. But yes, Article 40 used to mention village panchayats. Okay. Next one, Article 41. That is right to work, education, and public assistance in certain cases. That is, right to education is also mentioned under Article 21, capital A, inserted through 86th Constitutional Amendment Act. Right to work and right to education, both of them, they are mentioned under Article 41. Okay, we have got Article 51, capital A as well, and we have got Article 45 as well, where education, right to education has been mentioned. So how many of them? Article 21, capital A, Article 41, 45 and 51, capital A. There are four different articles, those who mention right to education. So Article 41, right to work. Each and every citizen should get right to work, right to education, and public assistance as well in certain cases. Let's say old age, any particular sickness, or infected with, through any disease, or any type of disability. So the state, within the limits of economic capacity and development, should make effective provision for securing the right to work, education, and public assistance in cases of unemployment, that is, provide the unemployment relief, old age, sickness, and disability. Right? So under Article 41, this is another set of instructions given to the state. Okay. Next, and the final one for today, for today's session. Okay. There are around 10 more. Okay. But for today, we have got Article 42, provision for just and humane conditions of work and maternity relief. According to the Maternity Benefits Act, if you are working in the government sector, or even if you're working in the private sector, whatever sector you have, public or private, if you are a female and you are pregnant, that is expecting the delivery of your child, okay, then once again, either public sector or private sector, both of them. It's not like that only the government provides these reliefs or only the private. No, both of them, according to the Maternity Benefits Act. 26 weeks of paid leave. What leave? Paid leaves, they are given to expecting mothers. That is the women, those who are pregnant and about to deliver the child. First child, second child, third child. No bar, no capping has been done. Right? That the maternity benefit will be given for the first child only, or the first two children only. No, not like that. 1, 2, 3, whatsoever. How many? Doesn't matter. Okay. So Maternity Benefits Act, okay, it provides 26 weeks of paid leave. Paid it is. Right. It is 26 weeks of paid leave. That is, no salary will be deducted. Okay. So this is what it is empowered through Article 42. That is provisions for providing just and humane conditions of work and maternity relief. And apart from that, it is also to be mentioned here, Manrega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. According to Manrega, 100 days of work to every adult rural or maybe even urban. We have got the other facets of Manrega as well. Let's talk about rural only. Every adult member of a rural area, okay, every adult citizen residing in a rural area should be given 100 days of work compulsorily by the state. Okay. And in that Manrega, that is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, there are some provisions kept. Like, for example, there should be proper sanitation at the work site. Proper drinking water should be available. Fixed working hours should be there. Proper pay scale should be there, and timely pay scale should be there. Payment should be there. There should be a creche facility as well for those parents, those who have just got a newborn baby or an infant, okay, a very young baby they have got, right? So a very small baby as in, right? So creche facility should be there, clean drinking water should be there, proper sanitation should be there, timely and adequate payments should be there, right? So all of these, like Manrega and maternity benefits, they are empowered through Article 42 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, guys. So that's it for today. Okay, we have discussed from Articles 36 to 42. And then tomorrow's session, we'll be discussing from 43 to the other ones. And apart from that, we will be also discussing the difference between DPSPs and fundamental rights and important cases related to it. Okay, everyone. So this is me, Praveen Mishra, signing off for the day. And yes, please do connect with me over either or Instagram or on Telegram, wherever you want. So Instagram channel, it will be Instagram ID, it is in the name Praveen Mishra _2107, or else if you want to connect with me over Telegram channel, so here it is, study _with _Praveen. So even if you don't use underscore, just study with Praveen. If you type on over the search bar, you will get my Telegram channel as well. Okay, guys, and please do not forget to subscribe to our StudyIQ IS English channel, okay, and hit the like button as well in case you do. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for watching. See you all soon. Bye bye. Good day. Take care. Jai Hind. Jai Bharat.